Oh, wow.
leaves drift by my window.
There you go.
The falling leaves of red and gold. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Halloween edition of the Fun Show here at Big TV.
And I'm terrified.
You wouldn't think so, because we're all dressed as ourselves.
That's
And the man with the Mike Salem mask behind the keyboard is Mike Salem. The lovely lady who will join us any minute is Susan Harrington. Susan's reading the latest casting notes
yes.
on things.
Oh,
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
but that's
you're
not
reading.
coming till December.
Why can't we congratulate all the people that voted early?
Yeah.
Well, we can. They've gotten it out of the way, and they can avoid all this nonsense.
That's right.
And fortunately, they voted. I'm Arch O'Reilly, by the way.
Are you Arch O'Reilly?
Yes.
I heard a lot about you, and people told me.
We've never met.
No.
We've been sitting here for 15 years together at the same table.
I thought you had a beard. Didn't you have
I
a
did
beard?
at one time.
Yeah, you did have a beard.
Yeah, I did. A real Santa Claus beard.
That's
it was
correct.
all set. Anyway,
And you had that big Revolutionary War outfit for
yes.
Okay.
You can still vote.
Right.
Early voting until November 4th, or is it 5th?
No, I think it's fourth.
4th.
Yeah.
Michael actually went and voted.
I voted.
Down to town hall and voted and got it out of the way. And I'm glad 20 million people have voted, because they avoided being influenced by this corrupt FBI director. Who made a big deal, and of course everybody else is making the press. I mean, they preempted television shows to do specials on this. And the one thing I want people to realize, if I can, about this thing about the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop is this line. Officials said agents had not yet begun reading the emails.
This is in the New York Times.
This is the New York Times. They have no idea what's in these things. They don't know if they're from Hillary, about Hillary, have anything to do with Hillary. They don't know anything. They could be macaroon recipes for all they know.
People in the Justice Department, including the Attorney General, really tried to stop him.
This guy should not make midnight tonight still in that office.
Right.
He should be fired. I don't know what the president's power is in this, but this guy has no business holding any office in the United States of America.
Particularly in charge of the FBI, Susan, I don't think. What else was I?
He needs to go.
They have it's a Hatch Act. The Hatch Act says
The Hatch Act protects public employees from arbitrary firings.
yeah, and also
I worked under the Hatch Act. The Hatch Act always also prevents any public employee of taking any active part in any partisan political activity.
That's it. And a fellow who was the chief legal advisor to George W. Bush.
Yeah.
That was his attitude about this whole thing, that he's guilty and he should be terminated.
Off with his head.
Yeah, said he should be terminated.
Right. You agree, sir?
Yes.
Off with his head.
But you don't know anything about Stanley Silverstein.
I don't know a thing about Stanley Silverstein.
I told you about him.
And I never heard of Nina's. And I hate to admit
You don't wear their heels?
I hate to admit that I have never worn women's shoes in my life.
I haven't
Now
either.
maybe if I had accepted that part at the Hasty Pudding show.
Yeah.
I was actually cast in a Hasty Pudding show, and then they told me how much it was going to cost me to be in the show.
Well, you have to pay to be in there?
Well, you have to become a member.
Oh.
And that was heavy money.
Oh, wow.
And I was not writing home to my father and say, send me 4 figures so I could be in a show. But if I had, I might know all about Nina's.
Yeah.
Nina's shoes are sold in more than 20 countries worldwide.
But do they come in size 12?
Yeah, probably with 7-inch heels too.
Are they popular in the drag queen
Well,
set?
Most retail for $89 to $129.
That's cheap shoes.
Yeah, the company has sold more than
Whoa.
250 million pairs since its founding. Okay.
Well, you do know we have a store in Waltham
Yes.
that is noted for shoes for the drag queen community, because that's where when RuPaul comes to town, that's where he goes.
That's where he shops.
Yeah, on Moody Street. And guess where the store is located? Above the Army recruiting office.
Oh, really?
Yes.
This guy was
I'm
living.
sorry, sir. We don't want you in the army. Try upstairs.
This guy was Stanley was living in Lithuania, and his father and mother took him to
In
Cuba.
Lithuania, I thought he was a Brookline person.
No,
Why are
wait
we
a minute.
talking
No,
about him?
no, he's not a Brookline person. And he went to Havana University when he was living in Cuba, and then he crossed over to America and became.
The king of cheap shoes.
No, not then. He was in the military in World War II. And
So he
now-
went from Lithuania to Cuba to Florida.
To the
yes.
army.
And then he ended up in Great Neck, New York. How do you like that?
Wow.
And he had 26.
I want to know who this guy's travel agent was.
26 great grandchildren. How do you like that?
How old was he when he passed?
91.
90-something, yeah.
He was just a kid. I know people
Thanks.
91.
Have I got the place
That's
for
for
you,
you.
folks? Great Neck, New York.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna
Trust
love
me,
it.
darling. Wonderful.
That's her
You
favorite
talk
line.
about the drag queen shoe store. We used to have there used to be a store right down on Newbury Street.
Is this show?
Very, very high end neighborhood that was the go-to place for stripper shoes.
Oh, well, I would know about that. Well, you know, there's the movie. Then they turned it into a Broadway musical, Kinky Boots, which is based on a real,
Yeah.
real thing that happened. So.
Save the family business
That's
by
right.
making
Carson-
thigh-high red boots. Right.
Ben Carson said, they compare her now to the devil, a witch.
You're talking about
Hillary.
Dr. Benjamin Carson.
Yeah, Dr. Carson said she was in league with,
When somebody poked him with a s-
Lucifer.
Somebody poked him with a stick and he
Woke
woke
him up.
Rush Limbaugh said the same thing.
She's the devil.
She's the devil. Alex Jones, the same thing, a commentator, that she's a witch and she's in league with the devil. What are we going to do about this?
We're going to
don't know.
elect her
I
and
hope
get out
they-
of some of this mess.
I hope they elect her.
It's
yeah.
gonna help her. Gonna help her carry Salem.
There you.
They showed everybody's there in Salem. There's a big crowd there.
Well, of course.
Salem. This is the
Today,
biggest
this is
night
their
of the
day.
year for
Would you
Salem.
go there to Salem?
Not today.
They say don't take public. They say don't drive your own car. Take public
There's
transportation.
public transportation to Salem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
really? What, the train?
Yeah, there's a commuter rate. Yeah.
They have
'cause
those. They have those things that you get on the
A
train.
number of years ago, I was doing a murder mystery thing at the
This show-
Hawthorne Hotel in Salem
Okay.
on Halloween night.
Like this show, it's a murder mystery
But
too.
I get shot like 15 minutes into
Okay.
it and taken out by an ambulance crew and stuff.
Okay, it sounds
And then
good.
I just had a leisurely dinner to come back.
Yeah.
Eventually
All right.
for the
finale.
for the bows.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I had to go to a thing with the national parks, and the woman who was running the office here in the Boston area, she told us to take we were going to take the train. She said, yeah, go down, and she told us to take like the 8 or whatever train,
Yeah.
and we did. She said, you'll be there in 20 minutes. And we said, this woman is a nut. Well, she was
Really?
because there's an express.
Zip and you're there.
My friend and I sat down. We just got to gossiping, and they said, say it next time, Salem. We went, geez, we didn't even get to the juicy stuff.
You didn't know you were out of Boston.
Yeah,
yet, right?
yeah. I mean, because she lived in Salem and ran that office.
Do
You know, the
a-
National
do you-
Park Service is
Do you have
very
a
confusing
transponder
around
on your
here.
car?
Yeah. Well, I have a transponder, but I don't.
Do you have a transponder in
I
your
do.
car?
I do.
You do? I do.
And I use it very, very little,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the last time I was on the turnpike, so I'm not worried about it at the
Now,
moment.
do you have it attached to a credit card, or do you load money on it?
No, it's attached to a credit card.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's important now that you have it. We were discussing earlier that if you don't have one and you drive through the tolls on the turnpike,
Costs.
they're going to take a picture of your license plate and send you a bill at a higher rate than the people who have transponders pay. But no one in our great journalistic empire out there has said what the difference in the fees is. I can understand it's being more since they got to make out a bill and mail it to you and process
Would
it.
Trump
when it
be
comes back.
against transponders?
Who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, it seems the poor working man is the one that's going to suffer.
Well, then he'd be all in favor of them, wouldn't he? I mean, he's for anything that screws the poor working man, isn't he?
Because you can have a transponder and it be usable up to 4 vehicles. So that's why I don't keep mine stuck into the.
Oh,
because,
really?
Yeah, so you
Oh.
could register it to up to
4 vehicles.
4
I
vehicles.
didn't
only
know
have one
that.
vehicle.
Right, but see, I sometimes, if I have to drive my mother somewhere and I'm in her car.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
that's
I-
pretty
you know,
You
good.
just
All right.
sit it on the dashboard and you go. I don't know if mine's working. I mean, I use toll things so infrequently
Yeah.
that I don't know when the last time I ever noticed a charge on my credit card was.
Oh, okay.
I mean, literally, I can't remember.
Well,
what
you
It's
know,
it
when
only
was.
money.
Well, when you
know,
do
and-
get one, look carefully, because the reason I don't attach it to a credit card is there were people who were saying that they were being charged 2 and 3 times. And I mean, it's like, okay, you could say, yes, I went through, that one, but I didn't go through it 3 times at the same, at 706, 706, and 706, and it was boom, boom,
What
boom.
am I, magic?
Yes, so that's why.
Well, I seem to have the other problem. They don't seem to be charging me at all.
They don't seem to be charging you at all.
We have another thing about your dear friend, Mr. Trump.
Oh, God.
Go ahead. He is a very
and,
nice man.
A very nice man, yes, very nice man. If you don't happen to be poor, black, immigrant, female,
Gay.
gay, and you're none of those things. So no wonder you like it. Anyway, Mr. Trump goes around, and of course, there's the famous quote, which I think was from Gertrude Stein, as I remember, that said every word that comes out of her mouth is a lie, including and the. And that's a great description of Donald Trump. Every word that comes out of his mouth is a lie, so it shouldn't surprise us that Donald Trump has, for a very long time, even before running for office, claimed to have given millions and millions and millions of dollars to charity.
Okay.
His campaign claims that he's given $10 million to charity. So the Washington Post put a bunch of reporters on trying to track down, and they contacted every charity that Trump has ever claimed to have given money to, and they could only verify one $1,000 contribution in the last 8 years. And the largest contribution they could find from before then was to the Trump Foundation, which I remind you, the Attorney General of New York has closed down now as a corrupt enterprise. And it was for the purpose of building a fountain in front of the Trump Tower, which means his charitable contribution was to build himself a tower and claim it as a tax deduction.
Nobody says anything about Chris Christie or that
Well,
other.
the Christie, the Bridgegate trial
Giuliani.
went to the jury today.
Did it? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Went to the jury today. Now, Chris was not indicted in that, interestingly
That's
enough.
right. He wasn't you, but his whole staff is going away.
The defense attorney referred to the guy who's the whistleblower who testified
Wildstein.
against them as the Rupert Murdoch of politics. No, not the Rupert Murdoch. The who's the guy who ripped off all the money? The Madoff. Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, he was
the Bernie Madoff of
Wait a minute, he was
politics.
back in the news again. They figured out how to get $288 million from this guy who
Back
was
from
setting.
something.
Yeah, and so the people. Anyways, it turns out that 65% of the money has been returned to the people.
Really?
Oh, that's good.
That's rather amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
That's amazing. I'm impressed.
Okay, now how are we?
They must have some good prosecutors in
They
New York
do
State.
have. Okay, and let me see what's over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the big TV unrehearsed thespian society's presentation for this evening, and appropriate to the time. Remember, it will be the eve of the election the next time we're on here. This is from 2008. Which was an election year.
Actually, it was 7.
It is an election-themed one, which is in a nonpartisan manner named Rubbish One.
After what the Republicans are doing lately, okay.
Trashing democracy.
Right. Action.
Well, I'm broke.
So what?
Nothing new for you.
What, it doesn't matter to you if I'm tapped out, maxed out, insolvent?
I suppose money's important.
It buys things.
It's what you get with it.
Yeah, intrinsically speaking.
But what does it mean?
Pays the rent or the mortgage.
Hey, I'm not homeless.
And not going to a foreclosure auction.
Please, don't be disingenuous.
His favorite word.
Okay, spell it.
God's got to have some sustenance.
It's just a transitional stage.
He wants a get-rich scheme again.
Well, the presumptive presidents were interviewed by Reverend Rich Warren on TV.
And the Saddleback Church in California.
He asked them to define what rich meant to them.
And Obama said $150,000 a year and up, I
And
think.
McCain said, about $5 million.
Well, it was all good-natured stuff.
Audience chuckled.
But I felt John was more relaxed.
You're right. Barack's response was more academic.
Evangelicals.
Faith and some laughs.
McCain favored charter
Laughs.
schools and choice.
And get rid of bad teachers.
Obama liked merit pay if teachers had input.
Well, they did split on abortion.
Although Obama deplored it, but wanted choice for women.
McCain didn't approve of stem cell research.
But I guess skin cells might be more acceptable.
John named the liberal justices he didn't agree with.
Barack was not happy with the conservatives.
They were both against evil.
Obama had voted against the war in Iraq.
McCain talked freedom there.
John's POW experience in Vietnam.
All right, they're both patriots.
President Bush always brought up his leadership qualities.
So did they.
McCain was at his best.
Obama was excellent with this group.
But with a blue-collar crowd.
Might have to tone down the rhetoric.
They both supported faith-based institutions.
On balance, I enjoyed the exchanges.
You know, Bush is leaving us with a huge deficit.
Preachers didn't talk economics.
But he sure wasn't tentative in his questions.
Well, I still got financial problems.
Write jingles.
Yeah, retrained.
What, now you want me to become a baker or something?
Hands-on approach is good.
It's kind of therapy.
Thanks, but no thanks.
It's a work in progress.
Then stick to pastry.
Will all this get me rich?
Discombobulating.
Grandson uses it.
Maybe I need an ombudsman.
George W. likes hamburgers.
And he's not bankrupt.
Oh, come on, everybody likes fast food.
He's not getting rich.
I could sell magic.
You'd have to go to Wall Street.
That's just competition.
Well, they do make a lot of money disappear.
So does our government.
And the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Huh? That sounds like a chewing gum.
Brits have an unusual country.
Checkmate is stalemate over there.
Have you heard? Money is power.
But is it happiness?
Philanthropists give it away for crying out loud.
Nah, keeping it's better.
Like a nice soft sweater.
Still, shoe stores need cobblers.
You know, juggling might be fun.
Putting trousers on houses?
Stick to Monopoly.
It's perplexing.
Did I miss a page?
Yeah. Yeah.
Paradoxically,
Yeah,
That's what it is.
recycling.
Hey, trash never goes out of style.
people make money at it.
And lots of friends at the flea markets.
Face it, everything's been done.
Gore knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah? Then let him do it.
Well, I can't afford an elephant.
McCain could use one.
Yeah, can't fit in the bus.
That's straight talk.
And John's no illusionist.
Obama wouldn't mind Hillary's disappearance.
Oh, about 20 million might make it happen.
I still haven't heard a decent jingle from you.
Like a secret weapon.
The enemy will die laughing.
Like this show.
The fastest chef in the West.
Instant pizza?
We haven't had a real idea yet.
What happened to imagination?
It's somewhere in the pizza dough.
Unadulterated persecution.
I'm befuddled.
But where's my windfall?
A new chain of shops.
Masur and Mansour?
Grasping at straws.
I feel stressed out.
Are you saying we should give up?
No, we can't quit now.
Yes, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
How about condos in a live volcano?
Yeah, plenty of free heat.
Oh, the insurance agents would love that.
You can't have everything.
Torture is very popular now.
No, McCain's opposed. You know, Guantanamo, Abu Ghraib.
Waterboarding is passé.
But the detainees won't talk.
They're too sensitive.
You place the restrained one in a chair before a large TV.
At least 19 inches.
Digital, of course.
Plug in a pirated CD of The Fun Show, volume turned down.
Pretty simple and cheap.
But is it effective?
After 20 minutes of silent viewing.
And the subject is still reluctant to speak.
Then you turn up the sound loud, right?
It always works.
Brilliant.
Guaranteed results.
Always send more free CDs.
Aha, you've just solved my insolvency.
What are friends for?
Blackout. All right, so
Okay.
you notice the different tone that we had when it came to an election 8 years ago?
Yes.
You know, it was lighthearted. They were agreeable. It was in a friendly manner. You know,
Now
etc.
go. You know what to
boy.
do out there.
What
Do
a,
it.
What a change.
Yeah.
Now, talking of elections, comes the issue of the referendums, the questions on the ballot. In Brookline, there will be statewide, there will be 4 questions on the ballot. There's an occasional one elsewhere on things.
Yeah.
And I have concluded that the simplest answer and approach to this is just say no.
Or just say yes. You could do that.
I'm like Nancy Reagan. Just say no.
Or yes.
Just no. Don't
No.
say yes.
Don't say
no.
yes. Say no.
Say no.
No. Okay.
And I would like to ask, you know, I kind of like Charlie Baker.
Who is he?
He's our governor. Remember him?
Yeah,
He
he's
used to
our
run
governor.
your health care plan. Now he's your governor.
He,
But
he was in charge of financing the turnpike once.
I would like to ask him exactly how much it costs for a billionaire to pay him to go on television and lie to the Massachusetts public. He's running an ad saying,
Yeah, I know.
if you like your schools, question 2 won't have any effect on you, which is a total bald-faced absolute lie.
He's in favor of the parents. He says the parents could.
He's in favor of the billionaires from New York.
They don't
who
have to
paid
be-
him. No, they are.
They could-
$10 million, every penny of it contributed by 5 billionaires in
Billionaires.
New York,
But
trying to tell us where to send our kids to school.
Well, okay, if that's what you say, I guess it's true. It is true. But
And-
what about
and-
higher premiums with the ACA? That's the Affordable Health Care. You don't say anything
the
about
Affordable
that.
Care Act, is
The
that what you're talking
Affordable
about?
Care Act, yes. What about that? You don't say anything on that. Or, Susan,
What's that
what
have to do
about
with charter schools?
Nothing. It's, you know,
It's slavery for the teachers.
this is, you know Michael's title, right? The Prince of Segways.
Segways?
Oh, okay, yeah, well,
And you got to belt yourself in because you could get whiplash.
yeah, I'm telling you.
These things. No, okay.
What's important
Apparently
is
they're going up, and apparently this is in part the result of all those red states that refuse to set up a sign-up mechanism
well, look at
in
the
that
guys
state.
who are saying how bad that whole thing is about the ACA, the Affordable Care
Act, yes.
I mean, you got Gingrich, Giuliani, you got Chris Christie, you got some wonderful people that don't like that.
What does Dennis Rodman have to say about it? What does Gary Busey have to say about it? As long as you're talking the stable of Trump maniacs,
Really?
Well, I mean,
When you look at who
these are
supports
his.
this guy,
After all, these are his aides. You know, these are the people that prepare him for these debates and everything, and he walks out on them. Okay, now
So when is
have you?
Giuliani going to be Secretary of Health and Human Services?
Yes.
Is that what
What about Frans Hals and that painting that is reputed to be a new discovery by Frans Hals, the painter, and Sotheby's paid a guy? Well, the experts said it was the real painter, Frans Hals, a Dutch painter, and they paid $10 million for this painting.
And now a forger has basically admitted he painted it, right?
What, yes. Well, no, they haven't caught him yet, but all the experts said it was the real thing.
And
now
so who says it's not?
the science people. They took the chips of paint and they found out that's 20.
When did the scientists and the experts become different groups of people?
I'm telling you, they are in this one. Okay, all right.
In other words, the art lovers said it was real, and the scientists said this paint was made in 1957.
Yeah.
Do you know that 300 million children breathe highly toxic air in India every day?
Yes, and probably
And
a much larger number do it in China every day as well.
According to the doctors, they have their kids, and they have growing lungs, which are really
Right.
are really
They have
hurt by this whole
COPD
thing.
by the time they're 12, right?
There you are. Okay, and I think that's really criminal, the whole thing. And nobody wants to talk about stuff like this.
They're probably better off than the people in North Korea.
Okay, you didn't mention anything about police torture in Chicago.
No. I know I didn't.
1970s to 1990s. You want to get into that, Susan?
This is Michael's fun. He makes a list of things we didn't talk about.
They have nothing to do with each other.
No, of course not. Of course not. They're random selection, you know.
But they're serious.
Well, you haven't brought up Bruce Jenner.
Who's he? Is he a skier from the
No.
Olympics?
Good old Caitlin.
He's a transgender. Have I got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
He wants to be called Caitlin.
Oh, him. Yeah, all right.
No,
listen.
her.
Yeah.
Oh, her, yeah. But now he wants to be him again. I mean, her wants to be him.
No, I don't think so. I think that's a vicious rumor.
Yeah. Trust me, that boat has sailed, surgically speaking. That boat has sailed.
And reversing that
The
is
rudder is gone.
the rudder is definitely gone.
How would he do it?
There's no pole on this
There you
riverboat
go.
anymore.
No mast.
Okay, now let me ask you, is Putin involved with all this trouble with Comey?
Yes, Putin is
See? You
doing
didn't
everything in
mention
his
him.
power to influence this race, and
Through the hackers, the Russian hackers.
and he is going to feel he won.
Okay.
When this, if Trump wins, Putin will think he can do anything in the world, and that will probably bring us in a shooting war with Russia.
Oh yeah.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV. We will be back next week.
Next month.
And vote now or then. Okay. Good night.
And Veterans Day is coming.